James here with New Adventure Films. For the last 3 days I've been solo camping near a remote lake in Utah. I've tried shore fishing, kayak fishing, bait, and trolling. I've explored the lake with my Jeep, dirt bike, and hiked miles to remote areas of the lake, all to catch a fish. But the weather is turning bad and I'm running out of time. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are about 10 minutes away from Currant Creek Reservoir in Utah, and I'm going to be solo camping for the next 3 days. Hopefully we won't see any bears because I forgot to bring my bear spray, and you just never know, so keep your fingers crossed. Before I went on my fishing trip to Currant Creek Reservoir, I thought it would be a good idea to scout out the lake on my motorcycle to see where some good fishing spots could be. The lake is not too big, but easier to see while riding a dirt bike than my Jeep. I was looking for deeper water off the shoreline, where there weren't that many weeds. I was also looking for good places to put my kayak in the water, where I would not have to carry it too far. And to be honest, I love riding my dirt bike anyway, and there are a lot of great riding trails in the area, and I wanted to explore some of them prior to my fishing trip. Currant Creek Reservoir is a scenic mountain lake located in the Uinta National Forest of Wasatch County, Utah. Sitting at about 8,000 feet in elevation, it's surrounded by pine and aspen forest, making it a great spot for camping, fishing, boating, and wildlife viewing. The reservoir itself is well known for its trout fishing, including rainbow, cutthroat, tiger trout, and tiger muskie. Fishing the lake would not be easy, as there are miles of shallow shoreline on one side and rugged steep cliffs on the other. I was looking forward to the challenge. A few days later, I drove to Currant Creek Reservoir to camp and start my fishing adventure. I chose a spot that I found while I was scouting the lake on my motorcycle. It was late in the day when I arrived, so I started to set up camp just as soon as I arrived. Nice. So I got here a little bit late. I am actually not where I'd planned to be. I'd planned to be at Currant Creek Reservoir by now, but didn't work out that way, so I got to get the rest of my stuff set up. I got my tent set up. Looks like whoever was here before left some wood, but I'm not going to start any fires because it's pretty windy tonight, and there's been a lot of fires in Utah, and I don't want to start one. It had been a very long day, and it was time to go to bed. That is, if the animals would let me. I seriously considered shooting that coyote. Good morning, everybody. Camping's always so much fun. It was comfortable last night. It wasn't even that cold. Some weird grunting animal came by early this morning and kept me up for a while, but other than that, it was great. Now we get to go to Currant Creek Reservoir to go fishing. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, let's get going. This is a new trail I found yesterday when scouting around, but I'm not exactly sure what it looks like at the shoreline from here. It's pretty weedy right here. I could see right down into the water. So having waders isn't going to help anything. because it gets deep enough right in here. It's way better. Well, I caught my first fish. Well, I haven't caught it yet, but I'm bringing it in. Off salmon eggs. That was the ticket. Nice. There's one. So that is the key. String this guy up with paracord because that's all I got. Alright, so this is what I've learned. The west side of Currant Creek Reservoir is very shallow. Even 100 yards out, it only goes down about 10 feet. So probably not a good place to fish. Also, it's very weedy. I'm going to try something. I drove about an hour and a half to a marina in Strawberry Reservoir to get some bobbers. And I know that sounds lame, but it seems like the only way you can catch fish on this lake is with bobbers. So I'm going to do a little bit more shore fishing and see how that goes. And it's in a place that's kind of a remote area of the lake, so hopefully it'll be a nice place to go fishing, and it's late in the day, so we'll see what happens. I'm in for a bit of a walk here. The other side of the lake now, and it's a much longer hike, probably about an hour if I can find it, to a trail that leads down to the lake. So the trail's somewhere around here, but it's pretty well hidden, so I gotta find it. Whenever you're hiking in the wilderness, it's always good to look backwards and take a mental picture of it, just so you know where you need to go when you're coming on the way back, because this will be really hidden, especially if it gets dark. We're getting close. I think I'm more than halfway there already, so I think 20 minutes is a better estimate of this walk. This pile of sticks here isn't natural. This is part of a beaver dam. There's a lot of beavers in this area. I've seen them on this lake before, but this has got to be a beaver den right here. I like this spot. Watch that for a minute. I tried this spot for a while with no luck. I tried cheese, worms, floating bait, and lures. Nothing seemed to get any attention from the fish. So after fishing here for a couple hours, I finally decided to move down the lake to a new spot. Hopefully this will work. Alright, I got my bobber out there. I can see it floating in the water. I have no idea how deep this is. I don't think it's very deep, maybe 6 to 8 feet. But I got it pretty far out in the channel, so we'll see if anything happens. So after fishing for hours with no luck in multiple different locations with different types of bait and setups, it was time to break out the kayak. The cliffs are deeper water, so the shore I just left from was really shallow water, and we're going to head towards the deeper water on the other side of the lake. Not having a lot of luck right now. In fact, other than a fish following my bait up once when I was reeling in, I haven't seen anything. Without the waders, which I don't really love, I have a feeling if I fell in the water it would sink me, and that's just not a good feeling. So I saw a big fish jump in this little bay. As you can see, I'm surrounded by weeds right here, but right out there, it gets deeper. We're going to see what happens. I fished here for another half an hour and didn't get anything. It was really frustrating because I knew there was fish in this lake. And then this happened. All right, well, time to head back in. It's starting to get windy again. No luck. Got one little bite and that was it. Although it would have been nice to have one today. Whoops. I got one. Whoop, off the hook. I am going to try that again. I did try trolling for another hour across the lake with no luck, but it was getting late in the afternoon and windy, and that's not great for fishing. I decided that I had done what I had set out to do, catch a fish, and I even went out on a kayak for the first time in my life. I also did something else even more important. I got over a fear I have had since I was 13 years old. On my 13th birthday, my father, brother, and I were rafting down a river in a small raft when it went over a waterfall we were unaware of. My father was pulled under the water and drowned, and my brother and I barely made it out of the river alive. Since then, I have not loved being in a small boat on the water. That fear is now a distant memory.